What is wealth inequality? A golden retriever explains wealth inequality with apples and simple smells. It sounds big, but it starts with small numbers. The dog uses apples as a stand-in for money. Some households own many apples, others own few. Wealth inequality means the gap grows when some get more toys, houses, or farms. The golden retriever sees this like two piles of apples on a porch. One pile is big, the other pile is small. Both piles sit in the sun. The dog says numbers help us discuss fairness, not cry and howl. The tail wags when apples move up the ladder, and frown when they drop. The goal is to know how to share, not just to hoard. In simple terms, wealth inequality is about who has more apples and who has less. The dog pauses for a nap, and then barks again about fairness. The dog says, "We need rules that help balance apples for all." It sounds heavy, but the dog keeps it light with silly rhymes. It sounds heavy, but the dog keeps it light with silly rhymes. The block ends with a wink and a wag, and a promise of clear lessons. Please subscribe and comment now. How does wealth grow and get shared? Wealth grows when people earn money, save apples, and pass some to the next generation. The golden retriever watches pups grow from small bowls of apples. He repeats the idea: work, save, invest, share. The dog says, work hard at a job, school, or a small business. Save a portion of apples, then invest some in safe things. The dog fumbles with a toy bone, then picks up a pamphlet about schools, doctors, and roads. The toy bounces. A squeaky toy echoes like a small bell. The dog explains that some people can access better schools, better clinics, and better roads, and thus start with more apples. The other dog next door lost a few apples in a storm. The first dog shares some of his apples. This is called redistribution and charity, in simple words. The dog repeats, more apples can be earned by work, more by learning, more by connections, more by luck. But not everyone has the same chance. Then the dog yawns. He says, apples become more when people invest in neighbors, communities, and public goods. The dog notes that wealth can be saved, borrowed, or given. It is a big circle, a big wheel. It spins and spins. It points to a graph with apples stacked high. It shows a long ladder, a few at the top, many at the bottom. The dog sighs, but then smiles. He holds a shiny red apple and says, "There is hope if we move together now and share apples. There is hope." Please subscribe and suggest topics in comments. Friend, what are the benefits and rewards of wealth? To start, wealth gives security, choices, and less worry about bills. The golden retriever sits on a rug and surveys a box of apples. He says, more apples means more options. A dog can buy snacks, a cozy bed, and a trip to a sunny park. The dog smiles, then slows as a squeaky toy squeaks. He returns to the point. Wealth can protect families from sudden storms, like a rain of coins. He warns it is not magic, it is time and work. Still, there are rewards. For example, 120 apples plus 12 apples becomes 132 apples when you save them. Then you add 25 more apples for interest if you lend them to a friend for a week. That friend returns 150 apples total. The dog nods and says, earnings compound slowly, and sometimes quickly. This is called compound growth. The dog flips a coin, but it is an apple coin. Yeah, it lands on the word growth. The dog grins. The pet shop offers a reward for loyalty. 7 extra apples per week if you shop there. The dog notes that rewards can be tiny bells that say, "Thank you for spending apples here." The riches allow helping others, like giving apples to neighbors in need. The dog says this is the friendly side, yet he pauses to chase a butterfly, then returns. He says wealth can widen access to schools, clinics, and safe streets. The dog breathes and smiles again. He believes wealth opens doors. More doors mean more chances, more kindness, more apples. Now, yum. Now the dog rests a moment, then sniffs a snack and thinks of good deeds. What are the costs and risks? Wealth gaps have costs that bite. even if they look shiny at first. The golden retriever finds a pile of apples with a price tag. He says borrowing apples can seem easy, but debt grows fast if you cannot pay back. If you borrow 40 apples and owe 40, you might owe more when fees hide in the coat pocket. The debt becomes a bigger problem if the person has to pay a lot every month and loses the ability to buy basics. The dog makes a twirl and almost trips over a rope. It is silly, but it makes the point. Banks may charge late fees, yearly fees, and other costs that bite like a bee. The dog shows a calendar with due dates and says the clock ticks. Interest grows when you do not pay on time. A math example helps. 100 apples borrowed at 5% per month becomes 105 apples, then 110.25, then 115.76. That shows how fast debt can rise, especially with more apples borrowed. Fees hide in small places, and people pay more than they think. So people must decide, spend now or save for later. The dog nods and scribbles on a chalkboard, costs, risks, and trade-offs. If you're careful, you can avoid big losses and still live well. If you're careless, the apples roll away, like toys at night. The dog sighs, then laughs. Plan, save, and borrow wisely for futures ahead. Thank you for watching this waggy lesson. What are safe ways to use wealth? The golden retriever speaks softly about safe use. He says, spend only what you can save and save what you can spend. Simple rule. He repeats, plan, track, pay attention. The dog hugs a red apple and nods. Then he wags a squeaky toy. The toy squeaks. Step 1 is budget. The dog lists. Eat a little, save some, give a little, and keep some for emergencies. The dog adds. Emergencies are big washes of rain that wash away plans, so keep apples for storms. Step 2 is track. He taps a clipboard and checks an app on a phone. He says, write down every apple you spend. Even a snack counts. Step 3 is pay yourself first. You put 5 apples in a savings bowl before you eat the rest. The dog grins. He adds a silly rhyme. Save to crave, behave, and pave. The audience giggles. Step 4 is avoid debt traps. He pretends to chase a laser pointer and misses. He says, do not borrow more than you can carry in your own basket. Step 5 is payment in full whenever possible. Interest loves debt, but not to hungry dogs who pay on time. The dog nods, then yawns, then hides behind a couch for a nap. Until then, fetch your friends, test the tips, and cheer about the upcoming Golden Retriever Patreon, the Apple Conservation Fund, toy donations, and paw print autographs. Chaos and kindness all in one. Thank you for watching this waggy lesson. Please subscribe and comment now. Thank you for being part of the pack. You're invited to join the chaos and keep learning. The end of 5 blocks.